urgent response is because these conditions have been normalized. Normalization means that we have grown complacent about the patterns, complacent about seeing large numbers of men of color, young boys of color failing in our schools, overrepresented in special education, overrepresented in every category we associate with failure. So much so that it's not even a problem. It's just the way it is. And what COSEBOC represents an attempt to say is, no, we need to interrupt, we need to intervene, and we need to do something different. And what we started to realize is that in that desire to do something different, which is driven by good intentions, that unfortunately good intentions are not enough. Right. You actually have to know what you're doing. And unfortunately, this is an area where the interventions have outpaced the research. And we've described this as a situation where it's an intervention in search of a theory. Because there are many people that still cannot explain what there is about being black and male, or Latino and male, or Native American and male in America that results to such high levels of risk. And if you can't answer the question, even with good intentions, you may inadvertently contribute to making it worse.
That's real.
Right.
And I can tell you lots and lots of examples of people with good intentions who have thought it would be a good idea to take together all the young men of color who are struggling and bring them together with a teacher who's struggling. And thought that somehow this would save them. And you know what? It almost never does. Because it takes more than good intentions. You actually have to understand the nature of the problem in the first place. And here's the other thing we know. If you locate the problem in the child and overlook all of the environmental factors that contribute to the ways in which that problem manifests itself, then not only won't you solve the problem, you may actually also make it worse.
Right.
Because you may in fact stigmatize that child and reinforce the notion that there's something wrong with them. And what we need to do is change them. Not the schools they're in, not the communities they're in, not the society they're in. Think about it. Because we're not just talking about an educational problem. The fact is, when you look at the data, it's a health issue. Yes. Health issue because black men in America are the only group, the only segment of the population with a declining life expectancy. Think about that. It's a criminal justice problem. Because we are in a society with mass incarceration. And even in states where black people are a very small percentage of the population, they are still overrepresented in the ranks of the prisons. It's an employment problem. Because even when there are economies that are strong and people getting hired, men of color are often the last to be hired.